Hey, welcome back, Patricia. How is the
Hey,
weekend?
the weekend's going good.
Yeah,
It
so
is warmer.
it's warmer there and it's colder here. Okay, so let's just dive in. Okay, guys, you joined because we're talking about the obvious silence coming from the Democrats about what's going on in Iran, and we're going to cover a few things. We're going to start with John Fetterman's interview, look at what he says, and then we're going to look at the other aspects of this whole story. Not much is being covered by mainstream media about Iran. You need to go to places like Tusi TV and X to find out what's going on. And then a few weeks ago, about 3 weeks ago, there was an internet blackout across Iran. So no one really knows what's going on in Iran. But the news coming out is that there's been lots of killing. That the soldiers are essentially going into the hospitals and tracking down people who were part of the protests and essentially executing them in their beds. So we're going to listen to John Fetterman talk about this because the Democrats are really good at defending the oppressed, but they are strangely silent whenever it comes to people who are actually being oppressed. So let's listen to this and we'll give our commentary.
I mean, absolutely. Why is she so eager to criticize and find a way to criticize Israel? But I don't really recall them saying anything as Iran was executing thousands of their protesters for that. Now there was never any genocide in Gaza, absolutely, and there shouldn't ever be any conditions for aid for Israel because they were in an existential war. That's part of the problem with the very anti Israel part of my party. So call that what it is. Why wouldn't you can't just stand? And why would you align yourself for raging anti-Semitites and very pro-Hamas people like Hassan Piker? And now, why can't you just call it what it is? You know, there's a rot in my party standing with pro-Hamas people like that, whether it's even in the New York Times. They're fascinated with him. I mean, where we are and call this is and stand with Israel. That's our special ally. And there was never a genocide. And when there is a genocide where you're executing tens of thousands of people in Iran, why not?
So, guys, let's note in the chat because why is this important? Because if everything we're seeing happening in the Middle East is going to pan out exactly the way we think it's going to pan out, we're going to see a regime change in Iran. Okay, that's exactly what's going to happen. There's going to be a regime change, and and sorry, yes. Okay, fine. Tell her I'll be right there in an hour or so. So if everything pans out exactly the way we think it's going to pan out, then it appears like there's going to be regime change, and then there's going to be lots of leftists lining up to attack Trump and to thumb their noses at conservatives, asking whether this is what they voted for. So, Patricia, what do you have to say before we jump over to what Whoopi Goldberg says?
Iran. How did we get here? Well, President Carter, along with the British and the French, installed a Muslim leader in Iran when they got the Shah to go to America to get a surgical procedure done. The Ayatollah stepped in and took over the country. Now, what made that so horrific was the Ayatollah is an Islamist, and the majority of people in Iran at that time were Christians.
Okay, now is that something that most people know?
No, most people think Iran's a Muslim country because of the Ayatollah. They are not. The Ayatollah immediately told the Christians, bow to Islam or die.
Oh, we have a video of him saying that just a few days ago, talking to people who were supposed to be Muslims, and he's warning that if anyone steps out of line and claims that they are not Muslims, that they're going to get killed. Like, it's on record. We're going to play that video, so stick around.
Iran was on the upswing of becoming a developed country when all this happened.
Yeah.
They were running electric to all of the villages. They were running water. They were running telephone lines everywhere. Um, it's how I knew that. My cousin, Eddie Blodgett, who has passed away since, was there installing the phone systems when the Ayatollah took over. Um, Now, this is funny because America helped put the Ayatollah in power in Iran, and the very next day, he took American hostages.
Hmm.
We didn't know where my cousin was. He was still in Iran when that happened, and we did not know if he was a hostage or what. And luckily, he made it to the Canadian embassy, and they got paperwork together to get him out of the country. And he stayed at the Canadian embassy until he left Iran. But knowing what Iran was like at that time to what it went to immediately under the Ayatollah shut down everything modern.
Hmm.
Turned the phones off, turned the electric off, turned the water off, did all of that. And put that country back to medieval times.
Yeah. We're going to play a video of what Iran looked like. Like, we have some clips of what Iran looked like. It looked like downtown San Francisco.
Yeah.
That's what it looked like. So we're going to play that. Now, leftists, I like to call them leftists because that's who they are. Here's Whoopi Goldberg, and Whoopi is saying that it's harder to live in America than it is to live in Iran as a
Oh,
black
before you
person.
play that, one more thing.
Yeah.
When I was in the Air Force in 1975 at Lackland Air Force Base, we were training the Shaw's Air Force pilots.
Oh, yeah.
They were on base with us. And what I can tell you is on Sunday, they were in church. Not at the
Mhm.
mosque, they were in church. We went to church with them.
Yeah. All right. Can I play the video?
Play the video.
All right.
And it's slow.
But let's just remember, too, the Iranians literally throw gay people off of buildings. They don't adhere to basic human rights.
Listen, here's the thing.
or
Let's not do, let's not do that, because if we start with that, we have been known in this country to tie gay folks to the car.
I'm sorry, but where the Iranian regime is
Listen,
gay
I'm sorry.
So the problem I have with people like Whoopi Goldberg is that they talk as if the things that have stopped happening are still happening.
Yeah.
And she talks as if the things that were happening were legal and were the law of the land. Okay? Tying gay people to the car wasn't something that was endorsed by law. Correct me if I'm wrong.
You're
But
not
she's
wrong.
but she's talking as if this was institutionalized treatment of gay people. But this was essentially unhinged people who wanted to treat people who they felt they were disgusted by poorly. And she's acting like that's the way everyone in America behaves. And she does this, and then her audience begins to clap. It shows how much they know.
Well, they also didn't know that the KKK was the one dragging people around by a rope behind the car.
Exactly. And the KKK was sponsored by the Democrat
Democrats.
Party that she is a member of. The
Biden
cognitive
even
dissonance
went
is
and
crazy.
Biden attended the funeral of the man who was over the KKK
Yeah.
while he was president.
And the media just pretended like that was nothing.
Yeah.
They
nothing
used to
compared to the
just
United
keep
States.
hanging black people. So
It is not even the same. I
but-
couldn't step
oh
foot
no!
during this
Wait! That's not what you mean to say. It is the same.
No, it's not. The year 2025 in the United States is nothing like if I step foot wearing this outfit in Toronto.
Listen,
Killed for
I'm sorry.
Well, they wear
You-
like you're running
listen,
no,
this-
I can't have my hair showing. I can't wear a skirt. I can't have my arms
Understood.
out.
I'm telling you, as a
I literally said it was
Lord.
up to the Iranian people.
yes,
It is up to them.
and that's why I am saying that it is the same. Murdering someone for their difference is not good. Whoever does it, it's not good. So that's why I said you weren't saying what I heard was not what you meant.
She's
I,
confused.
Yeah,
I think it's very different to
you
live in
know.
the United States in 2025
Unless
than it is
it's
to live
Charlie
Not if
Kirk.
you're black.
Not for everybody.
Not if you're black.
Guys, don't go to Toronto. Do not anyone at the table should go to Toronto.
Let me tell you about being in this country. This is the greatest country in the world. But yeah, I know that. I know that. And we all know that. But every day we are worried.
So let's do a little grammar class here. Whenever you use the word but, it cancels out everything else you just said.
Yes.
So if you say this is the greatest country in the world, but it simply means I've changed my opinion, or this thing makes the other thing I said irrelevant. So that's
So if she knows that, why has she threatened to leave America before if Trump got elected?
why is she still in America? America made her a millionaire, a multi-millionaire as a black woman. No one is threatening to drag her behind a car or hang her or lynch her. No one is doing that
He
anymore. But she
married a
keeps.
white man.
Oh, she did.
Yes.
Okay, congratulations, Whoopi. So Whoopi Goldberg is claiming that it is is harder to live in America as a black person than in Iran, and that is just insane. And these are I wonder why people still watch The View. I it's baffling. Now, so let's watch something here, okay? So the United States is positioned to do a surge in Iran. I'm going to play this
They
video.
left out an aircraft carrier that's off the coast of Israel.
Okay. So this is about to happen, guys. And we're going to play this report. And then you guys let me know in the chat if you're comfortable with an invasion and regime change in Iran. Just let's know that in the chat. And then we're going to play a video. I'm going to show you what Iran looked like. And it will shock you that a country that was so modern that essentially looked like downtown San Francisco or California, essentially became Iran. All right. So just stick around. We're going to watch this, talk about the upcoming invasion because it's happening. You can't have all these ships up there and nothing happens. So let's play this and then we'll talk about it for a bit and look at Iran before the Islamist invasion.
The Iranians are buying time. They are lying through their teeth. They're not going to agree to anything. President Trump knows this. He's just giving them the benefit of the doubt on the world stage while we are preparing to protect our bases throughout the Middle East and at the same time meeting with Netanyahu and deciding what's the next step after the regime is gone. Basically, that's what the meeting was all about yesterday. It's not about if we're going to attack Iran. It's about who's going to fill the void and what's going to happen the day after. They're playing good cop, bad cop, while taking the time to make sure that Israel will be secured, our bases are going to be secured, and we are giving the Iranians the time to basically save themselves on the world stage. We know they won't. President Trump is on to them. It's just a matter of time before we take care of business and things will change in Iran.
So, what do you think? Should America get involved? Now, let's remember the history because we're about to play a video. You're going to see what Iran looked like before the United States, England, and France helped the Ayatollah invade Iran and depose the Shah and convert Iran into a full-on Muslim Islamic state that became a worldwide sponsor of terror. So let's keep that in mind. But what do
We
you
owe
think about
those
this?
people freedom. We owe them. America owes them.
Okay. It's just as simple as that because we broke your country, we need to fix it.
That's it.
Essentially, the person who broke it should step up and fix it. All right.
Even if
So
it was under a Democrat, we always fix Democrat problems.
always, and then the Democrats complain when you fix their problems and then blame you for the problem in the first place when they were the ones
Hmm.
who caused it. So here's what I was saying earlier. Okay. Um, you can't have all these resources moved to the Middle East because of Iran and nothing happen. There's going to be something is going to happen. All right. These are billions of dollars worth of resources and logistics that were just executed within a few days. Trump is a businessman. He's not going to waste those resources.
Mm-mm.
Uh, so something is going to happen. Now, let's take a look at Iran. This was Iran back in, oh, sorry. I have these things in sequence. Let's listen to someone from Iran because we just heard from Whoopi Goldberg, who wants to tell us what Iran is like while sitting in an air conditioned studio in New York, I guess. Now, here's someone who knows what she's talking about. All right, so let's listen to this person.
What I want to say, honestly, is just don't be stupid.
Yep.
Don't think these people share the same values as yours. They do not. And they don't mess around. They don't worry about inclusivity and diversity and all of these things that you are practicing and trying to like include these people under the name of inclusivity and diversity. They don't care about that. Once they gain power, gone. You're all gone. Everything about your values will be gone right out of the window. And if you see that happening, like you've seen like a very small scale happening in Europe, is because of the physical distance with all of these Muslim uh, societies, but it will get to America as well. So don't you ever think it's far from happening, and just you better wake up before things go down.
So she's warning the United States. And what do you think of Mamdani essentially saying that he sides with the person who attempted to attack police officers who did a house call with a knife? That he was siding with that person instead of the police officers who did their job. Did you see that report?
Yeah,
So uh,
he's he's garbage.
no, it was expected. While he was running his campaign, we called it. We said this was what this guy was going to do. He said it during his campaign, and that's exactly what he did.
There is a
Okay,
bill in Congress right now to outlaw Sharia law in America.
and someone might be asking, why does that matter? Why should we be outlawing Sharia law?
Dearborn, Michigan. And then there's a bunch of Muslims that got together down in Texas and bought 250 acres. And they're going to build a new city on it called Epic. And you have to sign a contract to move there that says that you will live under Sharia law.
And the Constitution is supposed to make that possible.
It's totally against the Constitution. It
But but
cannot
but they
exist
but
side by
okay,
side.
all right. So they claim that the Constitution says you have freedom of religion. That's what they claim the Constitution says.
Islam is not religion, Islam is governance. There's a difference between being a Muslim and Islam.
Mm.
Practicing your faith as a Muslim is totally different than giving over complete government control to Islam.
So what people need to understand is this: whenever someone comes into your country and says that they want to run a second tier legal system within your already existing system,
Hmm.
they're telling you that they're creating a new country inside of your country.
They
That's
believe in raping women,
yeah.
they believe in child sex. They believe in cutting hands off of people who steal. They believe in cutting the tongue out of people who lie. They
and
believe in taking your eyes out of your head if you see something that you shouldn't be looking at.
they believe in ending your life if you leave Islam.
Yep.
If you don't believe it, hear it from the senior Ayatollah himself, and you can read
If
the
you're a
subtitles on the
Christian
screen.
and you don't revert to Islam, they'll kill you.
Right.
Plain
So
simple.
let's listen to this. Okay. So this is the religion of peace. Now I know that there are Muslims out there who genuinely want a peaceful existence. They move to the West and they want to just keep their heads down and be good Muslims and be good citizens of those countries. Those are not the people who we're talking about. These people here just want to come into the country and change everything and make it look like Iran. So let's listen to the senior Ayatollah.
بله تو آزادی
So he says,
مسلمونی
you're
میخوای
free,
بری بی
you're a
دین شی
Muslim,
به
and now you want to
جهنم
be
مردشور
to
خودتو
hell with you
ببرن
and
و
your beliefs.
دینداری تو سر به تنت نباشه
Okay.
اما
So that went by very quickly. So I'm going to read this very slowly. I'm going to read out the subtitles. Okay. He says, you're a Muslim and now you want to be non-religious. Essentially, being a Christian is being non-religious. They call anyone who isn't a Muslim an infidel. Then he goes on, to hell with you and your beliefs. And he goes on, I wish for your decapitation. All right. So, guys, do you know what decapitation means? All right. It means they chop your head off. But if you go around telling others that you left Islam, um, make it known, run in circles, and publicize it. Essentially, if you're evangelizing, no, we won't allow it. If you want to be a kufar, I think a kufar is infidel. If you're on the live stream and you know what kufar means and it's not infidel, please correct me. He says to hell with you, and then he goes on, uh, go be a kufar and do whatever the hell you want at home. Okay, you and a few others like you go from Muslim to apostate, then come to the streets and let it be known that you left Islam. If you undermine Islam, religion, and Quran, we will kill you and we will kill you good. That, that's a nice public service announcement.
And they have been killing Christians ever since the
it
Ayatollah took over
it
Iran.
makes you feel warm and cuddly inside to hear someone say
And that's
this.
a leader of a country.
That's the leader of a country, essentially. All right. So keep your chats coming. I can see some chats and we're going to read your chats. So keep them coming. Thank you. So this is the guy that is running the country that Whoopi Goldberg claims is a safer place for black people. This is the guy that AOC won't call out while he's killing protesters in their hospital beds. He's essentially ending the lives of anyone who leaves Islam. All right. So the question that I have running in my head is this: why don't you apply the same standards to the incident in Gaza with people being murdered in their hospital beds? Okay, why don't you? It's just a question.
Young
John,
girls that were taken prisoner during the protest
yeah,
and taken to a prison,
yeah,
all of them were raped, gang
yeah.
raped.
It's par for the course. It's expected. You know, when you realize what these people actually believe, and then you see stuff going on in parts of the United States, and then you see what's going on in parts of Europe, okay, it should concern everyone. We watched the video where Chip Roy was submitting his motion to ban Sharia, and essentially, um, um, it's it's crazy. Now, here's what Iran looked like, okay, in the 60s. We're just going to play this very briefly, okay? So this is not what Iran looks like today. If you
No,
don't
that
believe
woman would
me,
be stoned.
no, no, no. I have someone who is crashing out in the chat. I'm not even going to read the chat because that is someone who is essentially either a bot or someone who doesn't do their own research. I'm not going to dignify it with a response. Sorry about that. So just keep chatting. Now, this is what Iran looked like. Okay, like this looks like this looks like California. This is Iran. Okay,
A unique endeavor.
this is Iran. And when you look at how this country, beautiful country from all indications, okay, was
In an age
flipped.
when so many monarchies perished, and Mohammad
All
Reza
right.
Shah had ascended to the throne,
All right. Hold on.
Iran's
All right. So Lurley, okay, I want to apologize. You're not a bot. All right. I want to be polite. I want to be polite. So I want to apologize. You're not a bot. You can put your thoughts in there. But what I like to do is deal with facts. All right. So if you say the reports coming out from people who live in Iran is false, and those of us who live outside of Iran are simply saying they can't be genociding themselves, that's not an honest take. Okay. So that's why I said, okay, the way you're dropping your comments looks like a bot. And look, I've been swarmed by bots before. So I want to apologize. Okay. So I don't want to be rude. I always want to be a gentleman, but I always, you don't go to someone's house and poop in the living room. Okay, so there's decorum that takes place, but because we're online, a lot of people just do whatever they feel like doing. Okay, so all right. Yeah. So, Lurley, I'm going to answer the issue with Iraq. Okay, just hang on. So let's watch this, and then this is
years
the
to her
coronation of the Shah.
constitutionalist traditions. With the
All right.
oldest constitution in all Asia, she still remains a monarchy.
This is
Symbol of the new
Reza
role of women in
Pahlavi's
Muslim
Yeah,
father.
Iran is
yeah,
the active
and that's
participation
his
of
mom.
Farah, the
That's his
Shah
mother.
in representing the dynasty, the state. She's in charge of whole sectors of national life, particularly in the fields of social activities, art, and culture.
So they had a queen. They had a woman who was allowed to run things in government. Okay, so none of the restrictions that they have on women or they've had on women for decades now. This was what Iran looked like. We'll just play a little bit. Okay, it's almost done.
Their government was set up a lot like Britain's.
All right, so that's an old video, and um, in just a couple of decades, the entire country was gutted. People essentially became they changed the country. All right. Now, before we listen to this lady, all right, before we listen to this lady, I want to respond to the chat. All right, I've apologized to I think it's Lurley. That's the handle that I see there, and so here's what they said. All right, now I'm going to put up the chat on the screen. All right, here's what she said. Do you guys get paid by Israel? That's the first that's
I
the
wish.
first that's the first lob. All right. And if people if people decide that they want to look at facts and say, okay, based on the facts that's in front of us, this is what's going on, and then someone walking by simply says, you guys are being paid by Israel for looking at facts and reporting what you see, there's a problem there. All right. So no, we're not paid by Israel. Thank you very much. Then they said, do you know Israel is pew pewing and starving babies, right? Um, Again,
Who is this
where's
person?
no, no, no. And that's why I said this looks like a bot because they were just posting and posting and posting, and I'm like, okay, they're saying things that have been debunked. All right, they've been debunked. And who's reporting that they're starving babies? They're not starving babies. Okay. Food. Okay. During the Gaza thingy, okay, I'm gonna just call it that. There were incidents where Israel allowed food convoys to go into Gaza, and then Hamas would round up the food and then keep it from the people in order to make things look worse than they really were. Okay, it wasn't Israel that was firing rockets from hospitals and schools in Gaza. It wasn't. It wasn't Israel hiding behind its own citizens and firing rockets at the other country. It wasn't.
This
So
reminds me of the same thing that happened when rumors were coming out of Europe about Hitler killing Jews,
yeah,
and people were denying it. And is what this person's going to find out is that everything they have been brainwashed with was a lie. And it was a lie to promote Islam. Why? Because the New World Order needs communist friendly countries in order to take over. And Iran is backed by who? Russia and China. That's enough to tell you everything you need to know about the IRGC, about Hamas, about
yeah,
Hezbollah, about the Houthis.
yeah. Um, she says, or they said, I'm sorry if I'm misgendering you. I apologize, but they said Iran is not genociding itself, silly. So you're
No,
right.
the Iranians are
No,
not genociding
yeah,
themselves. The
you're right.
Muslims are genociding the Iranians.
But apart from that, okay, most of the people who are in the IRGC, I don't think they're Iranian, are they?
No,
The members of the IRGC are not Iranian.
no.
So you're right. They are not genociding themselves. You're right. You have people who are not
When you
originally
have
from Iran doing
the
that.
when you have the military of a country shooting protesters who are not armed, that is called genocide.
Yeah. All right. And that's a report that has been verified. Okay. So
I've
we're
watched the
only
videos and the gunfire and seen the people fall. It's not a fake thing. It's not something that's being a lie told.
yeah,
It is something that is actually happening.
yeah,
And it happened when Ayatollah first took over Iran.
yeah. And then they continued. Like this is why I was like, this might be a bot because it was just coming and coming and coming. They said CIA and Mossad foment violence in Iran. Well, it's likely that the CIA and Mossad have a hand in what's going on right now, but
They are
but
helping the Iranian people do what they want done.
well, yeah. So you're right there. So you're right on two counts. Okay, Iran is not genociding itself because it is the IRGC are made up of non-Iranians. Okay, that's one.
This
Two,
person making these statements has no clue what the Ayatollah and the IRGC are and who the people of Iran are. For your information, the Iranians are descendants of the Persians who took up Christianity.
yeah,
And that's why the 89% of the country before the Ayatollah took over was Christians.
yeah,
They're burning mosques. Muslims don't burn mosques.
yeah. Now we're going to play a video. Okay, so I'm going to continue with the chat. Okay, so here's a video of someone. This is in Iran. Okay, so this is someone. Okay, setting fire to a mosque. That's Iran. Okay, like they know exactly what these mosques are. These mosques are staging posts. Like the regime uses the mosques to store food, weapons. That's where they're
Mm-hmm.
more like forwarding stations for the IRGC. All right, so That's just to put in perspective what Patricia just said. So they said again, we liberated Iraq from Saddam. How did that work out? It's not the same. This isn't the same. Okay.
And
And
that's somebody who doesn't know a lot about Iraq either. Do you know there's three factions that live in Iraq? The Sunni, the Shiite, and the Kurds. And all three of them just literally hate each other's guts.
yeah, well, they don't know that.
No,
Um,
they don't.
yeah. So and then they also said the U.S. wants to destabilize Iran to steal its resources. How do you guys not know this? Eh,
I don't think we're going to steal their resources, but I do believe that there's going to be a huge base built there for America to monitor Afghanistan and China.
well, so time is our friend. All right. If we're wrong, we're going to come back on another live stream or broadcast or video and say, "Hey, we were wrong."
And the one
Okay.
thing I do know is that when the Ayatollah falls, Hezbollah, Hamas, and the Houthis are out of business
Yeah.
because
So
they'll get no more weapons, no more money. They won't get no more backing to make the war on innocent people that they've been making.
yeah. So Lurley, okay, so I'm gonna just read this chat. I guess there's more because the scroll bar is getting taller. So I think, or shorter. So I think that there's more.
Hmm.
They said, fair question. Israel pays many people. Well, that's why I said, I think you asked them if we're being paid by Israel.
I would
That's where
love to see
we're
their
not being paid
proof.
by Israel at all.
I want to see their proof of that.
Well, it's the regular accusation that someone who is favorable to certain things that have been assigned to or attached to
The only people I
Zionists
know get
or pro-Israel positions
the
that,
only
that they're being paid by Israel. Look,
the only ones I know that's been collecting cash from a foreign country has been the people who've been compromised by the Chinese.
yes, and no one is talking about those people.
Of course, you won't speak of that because evidently you are a true blue Democrat
Yeah,
who can't hear the truth and wouldn't recognize it if you did hear it.
yeah. All right, so Canary King makes an appearance.
Hello,
Hi
Canary
guys.
Kid.
All right, so they continue. Okay, so Lurley, I'm sorry, I don't want to misgender you. Are you a he or a she? So I can get this out of my system. I did not say you were paid by Israel. I asked if you were very different. Okay, so let's
You
see.
know what? I'm
Let's
tired
see.
of Democrats' word salads.
All right.
You can change illegal alien to illegal immigrant and they're still an illegal alien.
Oh yeah, but they are right. They did say, "Are you guys paid?" And I was like, "Yeah." So, but it's let's move on. Let's move on. We just want to have honest conversations, okay?
I don't know
And
where people
then,
like that get their information from.
well, I don't know. Canary King says, "Would like to hear all views. Do you want to call in?" Okay, it's true. So, Lurley, Canary King is asking if you want to call in. Now, I'm gonna let you answer that. Okay. We have a call in feature. I'm going to just get the link and make it available here in the chat. So we have a call in link, all right? And you're going to use your handle, all right? You're going to use your handle. So when you attempt to join the live stream, you use your handle and then we let you in. And then we can have a conversation, not a shouting match, all right? A
Well, the only
conversation.
AI I've seen is the ones that the Ayatollah's been putting out showing their little bitty navy attacking the USS Abraham Lincoln.
All right, so let's see. There's lots of comments here. So the videos you must have seen. No, I'm not saying that they are AI, but So there's a lot of things that have been called out during the whole Gaza genocide situation. All right. And whenever people bring up, okay, so Israel is starving Gaza, no, there is a war on. There is a war. If you saw what the United States did when they were fighting Japan and Germany, and it was televised, or you saw videos of it, you would equally be appalled. But there is a war. And it just happens that one side happens to be weaker militarily, but they are the ones who started the fight. Okay. Is it great that there was collateral damage? No. I hate the fact that there was collateral damage. I hate it. But we need to be able to, two things can be true at the same time. There's a war, the war is bad, but there's also the fallout of the war, and that is bad. Okay. Now, the questions about whether Israel was intentionally carrying out a genocide is up in the air. We can't crawl into their brains to say this is what Israel is really thinking. They really want to do this. But then again, it's a conversation to be had. Okay. um, so the call-in link has been made available early. If you want to call in and have a conversation, the link is right there. We don't want to have any. It's not. It's not a. It's really about having a conversation, guys. All right. Now, Lolly says vilifying Iran to foment war that will only benefit billionaires doesn't seem smart to me. I don't think. Now, here's what I said, and I'll keep saying it. I don't think that's what's going to happen. If the Trump administration was trying to start a full-on war, the first shots from the battleships and the carriers would have happened uh,
already.
days or several weeks ago because
Iran
they've
would
been
be
there for a
flattened
while.
by now.
Yeah, they've been there for a while. Okay, and then they pivot to ice. All right, so um,
Uh,
stay with one conversation.
you
All
don't
right,
want to talk about ice.
stay with one conversation. All right, I have someone in my life who does this. They try to
Yeah.
catch me on one conversation because they don't like Trump. They try to catch me on one conversation, and I give them the facts and I send them videos, and then they pivot to something else, and then I have to give them facts and videos on that as well. Is what's going on with ICE good? No, it's not good that two people were killed as a result of the insanity of blue cities and states.
But it was
It's not.
not good that two people attacked federal agents with the intent to do them harm. That is not good. If you go to the police or law enforcement and fight them, you're going to end up dead. That's just a given.
Yeah, so let's stay on Iran because that's usually what happens when you begin to pivot to these conversations. It gets weird.
Oh, she has
So,
lost her mind.
so Trump is genociding. Like it's so.
Yeah, he's killing everybody in America.
Yeah,
I mean, do you know that he's killed? Are there hundreds of thousands yet?
yeah. Well, it's weird, but the question is, where's the proof? Where's the evidence? What are we talking about? Is there any? Is there any? Are there facts that we can work with? That's really what I'm asking. Okay,
There's no
that's
evidence of anything that they have posted about.
and then they said we assume a lot. No, we don't. And if any assumptions are made, we like to correct ourselves. Okay, Canary King catches me regularly, and I have to say, okay, well, that's something else, and then we pivot. But what are the facts? We assume a lot. What are we assuming? Okay,
They need to turn on 2CTV.
this was 10 minutes ago. Like this,
Watch the
where
videos.
we're 10 minutes behind all her comments. So we're trying really hard to catch up. I don't know what Wabis is. I don't know what Wabis is. Okay, so maybe you have to explain. Do you
Wabish.
Do you know what that is, or
No,
unless
I've
it's a
never heard
typo?
of that.
All right.
Is
So
it like Furbies?
I don't know what else. They said, now, guys, if you're watching and you want to get in on this and just chat, look, just post your thoughts in the chat.
America has never invaded a country and took it over. In fact, during the wars that we fought in other countries, we have actually rebuilt them for them, put money into them, and restored them to their glories.
Yeah. So, which country did America attack and invade for its oil? Can you put the country's name in the chat? And I'm sure that Iraq will be on that list, and you.
And we're not taking over Iraq. They've got their own government.
All right. So they're clarifying that they are not defending the Ayatollah. Okay, that's fine. Okay, but I don't think we said you're defending the Ayatollah. How many Americans are you willing to sacrifice to help Iran? That's the thing. That's why I said this is not the same. I don't think Trump is going to have boots on the ground in the same way the United States had with
Here's the
Iraq.
question: how many Americans have died because of what the Ayatollah has done? Do you have any clue to that? The IUDs in Iraq did not come from Iraq. Trump killed the Iranian who was in charge of that. The terrorist attacks that were funded by the Ayatollah has killed Americans. There were Americans killed in the Israeli massacre.
Hmm.
There was
Yeah,
Americans
yeah,
taken hostage
yeah,
by Hamas.
yeah,
That's a known fact. Trump got them out. But how many Americans are you willing to sacrifice to keep Iran the way it is right now?
yeah.
That's the question.
Yeah, Lolly, I want to say, I'm grateful for your comments. We're going to keep reading your comments, but I just want to throw that in so that you know that I am grateful that you're actually engaging and sending in comments. And if you're watching, please like, subscribe, share the video, and comments, please. We're still reading the comments and responding. Now, I want to say this, okay? We are all products of our communities, and I don't want to use the word um echo chambers, but to a degree we all live in our own kinds of echo chambers. I live in a conservative echo chamber, but I like to crack open that chamber to see what's going on the progressive side or on the other side. So I try to learn and I try to ask myself the question every week: am I seeing this the right way or the wrong way? What are the facts? And I thank God that we have artificial intelligence, we have Google search engines, we have archives that can tell us whether the things that we're hearing are true or not. All right, so let's keep going. Um, Lolly says, I asked, I did not accuse. Your rhetoric is in line with Israeli propaganda. Oh,
Well,
well,
number one, I don't believe there is Israeli propaganda. And number two, we've always been Israel's ally. That is a known fact. Ever since they've been in existence, America has been their ally.
yeah,
So we have sold them military equipment. They got B 1 bombers before we did.
yeah,
And I know that's a fact because I was in the Air Force when the B 1 bombers were being sold to Israel.
yeah. Um, Then they said, laugh out loud, now I'm a Democrat. Um, so Republicans, um, I would say I haven't met a Republican yet or a conservative yet who takes the positions that you've articulated in the chat. That's what I would say. You could say then my circles are very small. No, they're not. What tends to happen within conservative circles is this: we express our concerns with respect to, for example, when the retaliation was taking place with Israel. Two things were happening at the same time within the conservative circle. One, there was the conversation around, yes, Israel is required to respond to what happened on October 7th. If you haven't seen the videos, if you haven't seen the street view camera footage, I watched CCTV coverage. I saw people get chased down and killed in the street. I saw families who were driving home get stopped at the gate, sprayed with bullets, and the cars set on fire. Look, it
I
was a
watched the
horrific,
videos that Hamas released
yeah. Like
that
if you,
showed them taking a naked woman with a broken leg and throwing her in the back of a pickup truck.
yeah,
And that woman was a German. Her mother watched
yeah,
that on
yeah,
TV
yeah.
and
Look,
even spoke to news reporters about it.
yeah. So we shouldn't pretend that a horrific thing didn't happen. Should it have been replied with another horrific thing? And my response is, sadly, that is
Yes.
war. Sadly, that is the way the world works. Should it work that way, I would like it not to. But whenever someone does a horrific thing to your country, you need to show that you're willing to retaliate in order to prevent other people who have it in their heads to want to do the same thing to think twice. All right. So it's just the way it is. And do bad people capitalize on that ethos to create chaos in the world? Yes, they do. So the same, like in conservative circles, the two ideas were happening at the same time. It wasn't a um Israel shouldn't defend itself, or Israel is committing genocide and should be allowed to, or Gazans should be wiped out. It wasn't any of that. It was a careful calculation of why did this happen and how should this be responded to in a way that is just when you look at it from a world view system. It's a difficult conversation to have. And conservatives were having it all the time, and it led to a lot of fights, especially in some circles where people fought to the point where they disagreed so sharply that they stopped being friends. But these conversations happen regularly. Lurley continues and says, "You're not understanding the difference between a question and an accusation. It's not my okay. Okay, fine.
If you want to
This,
ask a question. Don't say, what? Is Israel paying you? What?
yeah.
Is
Well,
George Soros paying you?
all right. So Lurley continues. Patricia, Lurley has taken over the chat since
Yeah.
you retired from chatting. Lurley says IDF soldiers post their crimes on social media every day, and and
Oh,
again,
my Lord.
so if anyone has perpetrated crimes, okay, now when you go to war and someone is shooting at you and you shoot back, and the consequences of being shot back at happens, I don't think that's a crime. If there are
Mer
other
Lily would like
things,
it to be like it was in Vietnam. Soldiers, if you shoot at the enemy and don't know where your bullet goes, you're getting fined $50 for every bullet. And you're not allowed to shoot at the enemy unless they shoot at you first. What, you think that's war? War zones are a dangerous place to be. You are more likely to die in a war zone than walking down the worst street in one of the Democrat cities.
yeah. So this
And
is not the same thing, but
it's war. It's where
Yeah.
bombs go off, they fall out of the sky, people shoot randomly, thinking they're hitting the enemy. That's war. And
Yeah.
there's a difference between war and a street gang.
Yeah.
And most Americans don't even have a clue what it's like to walk into that. Yeah, I've seen the pictures of Gaza. If I was Israel, Gaza wouldn't exist anymore. And they sure wouldn't be moving back there.
Yep. Look, when October 7th happened, two things happened inside of me at the same time. One, I was grieving what I saw happening on the streets of those kibbutzes. Two, I was grieving in advance for what Israel was going to do. Both were happening at the same time because I know that not everybody in Gaza is a bad person. And those people in there who aren't even party to what's going on or what happened on October 7th would pay the price for what these crazies did. So um I would ask the question, Lurley. Okay, Lurley, since we're talking about Gaza, if you were the leader of Israel and someone broke into one of your towns, killed, raped, pillaged, blew up families in their bomb shelters,
Put
uh,
babies in
and
ovens and
des-
turn them on.
and desecrated their bodies, and then filmed and sent out all of these things, and you saw that, what would your response have been? And just be honest about it. And this is not a gotcha. Okay, it's not a gotcha, and I'm going to be true to my word. What would your response have been? Patricia has given you her response. Okay, what would your response have been? And let's know. Um, Canary King says dialogue is good. Yeah, we try to have dialogue. Lurley says, you miss my point. You say when Iran shoots protesters, it's genocide, but when Trump does it, it's just a given. Seems like a contradiction to me. So Trump is not.
Trump is not using full automatic weapons to open fire on a crowd.
He's not doing that. And so far, how many people have been shot? And as at last count, I think it's about three or four, two fatalities. And the two fatalities, one must have been an accident. Alex Pretty, I think that was an accident because the gun he was carrying is known to fire on its own, and it may have
And
done
when the
that.
police officer took it away from him, it
Yeah,
did fire.
yeah, and then the other guys panicked and then they fired. You don't know what it's like to be in a situation where someone has a gun with and might use it on you, and
Well,
tension
the whole
heightens.
setup of that is the threats that these guys who have been doing their job have received. Death threats.
Yeah,
Death threats to them, death threats to their families, death threats. Shootings have occurred where they've shot at federal agents. They did it in Texas and killed two immigrants. They did it up there in Missouri where a drive by shooting happened. And it's a wonder that some of the protesters hadn't been struck with bullets at that point.
yeah. Now, what you see in Iran, if you've seen the videos earlier, and I would encourage you to go on X and look for the videos. These are videos taken by Iranians filming the IRGC driving through streets or walking through streets and opening fire randomly at
There was a guy
crowds.
on the back of a motorcycle in IRGC with
Yeah,
the shotgun
yeah,
that was driving by and just shooting people on the sidewalk, and you
yeah,
could see the people falling.
yeah,
There was a crowd of them that went to protest, and the IRGC, you could see them set up across the street, open fired on them with full automatic weapons.
yeah.
If
So
you want to see what people are talking about that's made it so horrific, go and watch those videos.
yeah, watch those videos, and then ask yourself, is this happening on American streets? If it's not happening, it's not the same thing. It's really it's easy to figure that out. She They also said they haven't told me what the agenda is yet.
I'm
They
not making assertions. I'm telling you what the facts are.
Yeah. All right.
And
So
your questions are asking questions about assumptions.
yeah. So here's how conversations should happen, and this is for the benefit of everyone else. If you don't know what the other person is thinking, you ask them to tell you what they're thinking. If you make a comment based on an assumption, it can spiral the conversation out of control. It happens in our own relationships, even with our friends. If we make assumptions, there's a misunderstanding, and you need to clear that up. So first off, ask what this other person is thinking, and then you can respond adequately. Let's see. Canary King says, "My sense is that Trump isn't a warmonger like W. Bush. Trump was critical of the Iraq campaign. I recall him saying the last thing we need is another Bush. That's what made Jeb drop out. Trump Trump has actually stopped 8 to 10 conflicts already."
Correct.
Okay. Which is correct, and these are factual. Okay. Now I want to say again, when you
We restored to glory. Japan, that attacked Pearl Harbor. After
okay,
the war, we rebuilt Japan.
all right.
Germany. American money went to Germany and rebuilt Germany.
So Lorelei says, Soleimani was engaged in peace negotiations when Trump assassinated him. So you're not acquainted with the concept of takia. Takia is an Islamist concept where they are allowed to lie to you. You can they are allowed to tell you that they are working out peaceful settlements with you while planning war at the same time against you.
Does
Okay.
Lord Lilly know that Soleimani and the Iranians have put out assassinations against Trump before anything was done?
Oh well, uh, it- well, it should be public knowledge, but then again, I won't assume everyone knows that.
Well, of course they don't, because the mass media news agencies are reporting it.
All right.
They're keeping it shh. Don't tell our people that. You'll make them not believe our propaganda.
Lorelei says it takes zero American troops to leave Iran alone. I don't understand why you're pushing that, because we started out the this segment by talking about how a the Iranian regime being hostile to the United States essentially invited the United States to get involved. That's the first thing. Two, the Iranian people filmed themselves calling on the United States to intervene. And three, killing your own citizens for wanting something different, okay, is wrong. And should the United States leave them to their own devices? Four, the same country that has funded terrorist attacks on your nation, okay, is now in a weakened position. What do you do about it? Do you let them consolidate their position and then still come back and attack you? These are questions that need to be answered honestly. And I'm sure that anyone who doesn't want to have a good faith, straightforward, common sense conversation might not see that there is utility in having these points answered. Once you answer these questions, you will arrive at a certain conclusion, and you might not like that conclusion. All right. Um, Lorelai says maybe if we didn't have troops in Iraq creating ISIS, Iran wouldn't need their own proxies.
Obama created ISIS, sweetheart. He pulled out of Iran, and Trump had to send the troops back in to get rid of ISIS.
All right. We are essentially 20 minutes behind Lorley. We're just trying to catch up. Um, so they said we are Israel's ally. That she's responding to the statement you made a while back. How many times have they sent troops to assist us?
Well, here's the geopolitical problem with that. You see, we attacked Afghanistan because the Taliban supported Al Qaeda and bin Laden to blow up, to drive airplanes into buildings in America. They didn't attack our military, they attacked our civilians. So we went into Afghanistan, a Muslim nation, and we took them out. Now, for Israel to get involved in that would have how many of their neighbors attacking them? Did they support us in the attacking Afghanistan? Yes. Was it with their troops? No. It was with staging areas and able to launch off of that, which was very much needed for refueling in the air off of the aircraft carriers and the B 2 bombers that went in there and the stealth fighters and the stealth bombers. So that was the staging areas from them.
Mm.
And one of the things that's come about so far from America's involvement in the Middle East is more peace. There's an agreement between Egypt and Israel. The Saudi Arabia deal was going to happen when Hamas attacked Israel. That was in the works of being signed. And Hamas stopped it dead in its tracks. And what you don't understand about the Middle East is they wanted Hussein left in place in Iran to give a buffer zone between Iran and the rest of the Middle East. There are no Muslim countries in that area that support the Ayatollah because the Ayatollah has threatened to kill every world leader of Muslim nations because they're not his religion. So when you're looking at these geopolitical things, you've got to realize, why did the rest of the Muslim nations not want somebody as horrible as Hussein taken out? They even stopped him from being taken out during the Gulf War. And Syria, Jordan, Egypt, and Saudi Arabia all fought in the Kuwait War, the Gulf War, with Americans to get Hussein out of Kuwait. But they stopped, they drew the line on going after Hussein.
All right. So here's what I'm going to do with the rest of the chats. I'm going to pick, because I've been trying to go through every single one. We're over the hour mark. We're going to pick out some of the, let's use the term, the questions that have some punch to them, and then we'll try to answer them. I've seen a few, and I'll just jump straight to them. Okay. Now this one has some punch. Okay. Lolly says, "Dude, they shoot rock throwers with tanks." Are you referring to Border Patrol, ICE, and the National Guard shooting rock throwers with tanks? And why don't we have parts of Los Angeles, because that's where the rock throwing was happening? Why don't we have parts of Los Angeles decimated by shell and mortar fire? Like these are things that are said that I'm trying to make sense of. I
That
have
is
so
hysterical.
I haven't seen one video of federal agents or National Guard guardsmen shooting protesters who threw rocks at them with tanks.
Nope.
So when you make statements like this, you have to come with the proof. And I haven't seen anything to that effect. I followed that situation very closely while it was happening. I didn't see anyone being fired upon by tanks. Let's see. Let's see. This one is one. So the CIA backed operatives shoots at Iranian police. What are they supposed to do? Sing kumbaya. Um,
I
so
don't think the CIA is shooting at anybody over
so
there.
the videos that we've seen of them shooting has been one-sided, has been one way, and it's not um, a 10-second clip. It is minutes of these people driving through the streets or walking through the streets, firing in one direction. The
The
shots have usually
Iranian
been one
people are
direction.
not armed.
Yes,
They
and
were
they don't have
disarmed.
the Second Amendment in Iran. Just need to
They
put that
they
out
were
there.
disarmed when the Ayatollah took over. They have no weapons of their own.
Yeah. So I want to answer this because, this is not a gotcha. They said, you assumed I was a bot. No, I said this might be because I've had experiences with bots in the past. I said might. I didn't assume you were a bot. And if you remember the way I talked about it, I said someone is crashing out, but this might be a bot. That's what I said. You can go back to the tape.
If they would
Um,
have asked what the history of Iran was
yeah.
and why we think that Americans should be involved since Carter caused all this problem back in 1979 to begin with. Carter's the one that put this into action. So, should America clean up their mess?
All right. You assumed that was a bot, then you assumed that was a Democrat. Yeah, because you're basically repeating talking points that we've only heard from Democrats, and that's why it's not an assumption. We're putting pieces together. It's not an assumption. Okay. You assume all my questions are accusations. They're well. Is
They
it
are.
just me? Is it just me, or is it just the way they're framed? Now, when we have these kinds of engagements during live streams, I'm very careful with my words. I'm very careful, and that's why I could remember what I said over about almost an hour ago when I talked about the possibility of your comments coming from a bot. I can remember because I weigh my words carefully. All right. So, does it sound like you're being accusatory? It kind of has that edge, but do you know what? We're trying to have a conversation, and we've tried to self-correct several times to say, okay, if we're going in the wrong direction in this conversation, we want to circle back and make sure that we're engaging in a good faith conversation, and that's what we've tried to do. So she says, or they said, these facts are not my fault. And I've asked for you to confirm whether you're a man or a woman, and still not had a response yet. So I don't want to assume which one you are. Let's see. I'm going to skip that. So this comment. Your argument is Trump assassinated Soleimani during peace negotiations because Muslims can't be trusted. No, my assumption is this.
How many people did Soleimani kill? Do you know that?
He was responsible for many deaths, American deaths. So someone getting a reprisal assassination is the way the world works. If there was and
Trump had warned them.
Trump wasn't negotiating peace with Soleimani. He was
Trump had
negotiating peace
warned them.
with, yeah.
He had told them, you kill one American, I will come after you. And what did Soleimani do? He was the man in charge of putting out roadside bombs to blow people up. And they didn't care who got blown up by the roadside bomb, whether it was a kid, a woman, a school bus load of children, a sick person. They didn't care. So when our soldiers were getting mutilated by these roadside bombs, Trump decided to send them a hard message. And when he sent it, it landed on Soleimani's head because he was the man in charge of getting all this done in Iraq.
All right, so I'm going to skip over to the not now what's the word? Not accusing us of something. All right, so they just got through
You
saying
studied
how
that
they're not
at
accused. Oh, no,
university?
hold on, Patricia. You know, it's all it takes. All it takes is just a long enough conversation. Okay, and we've been having this conversation, and they've been listening to what we've been saying, to the posts that they made minutes before we got there. And then here's what they said before they apparently have stormed off the live stream. What you don't understand is I've studied these issues at university level. Yeah, yeah, and we
Yeah.
haven't seen the reports, and we've not gone through.
Okay, if they
We've
studied this at the university, I want to know, why didn't you know about the history of Carter, the British, and the French being involved in regime change in Iran in 1979?
and I'm sorry, Lurley, but this isn't a trump card, okay?
No,
Pun intended. This isn't a trump card. Saying you read something at the university level doesn't impress me, okay?
sure
Doesn't
doesn't
impress
impress me with
Patricia,
what they're turning out to
and
say.
to be honest, it doesn't impress many people who watch what the university has been turning out over the last decade. So it's not impressive.
You'd be
What?
very, very wise to ask people who lived through that,
Yeah.
who actually witnessed it and seen it and
What?
knew what happened.
Yeah, what we do is we look for the actual raw footage and we listen to people who live through these things. She just talked about her cousin
It was
who
my
was
cousin.
who was in Iran when the Ayatollah's regime took over. Like, these are real life experiences. It's not what you read in a you study in a classroom with a professor who's never been to Iran. Okay, so like these are things that we're trying to do. We're trying to unpack the truth here and have proper conversations. I've studied these issues at the university level, and your ignorance is only rivaled by your arrogance. Thank you for flipping this into accusing us of being stupid. Well, let's keep going. Um, and then we have another chat. You guys keep eating CIA slop you can get from CNN, or you can become media literate and learn some things. Yeah, media literate. Do you mean being media literate and
Well,
wait? Just hold on. Do you mean being media literate and calling out the fact that that the things that we were being told during the pandemic we all knew were lies? We called them out. We were told that we were not media literate. We were told that we didn't see the things that we saw. Everything that we've called out, all of the so called conspiracy theories that people who were taught in the universities by professors who were told that these things didn't exist, suddenly they actually did exist. Okay, is it all? Is that the media literacy you're referring to? All right,
they
so
they really need to go back and look up all the newsreels that occurred in 1979 regarding this. Then you might get a clue to what has been going on. Because those newsreels weren't like the newsreels today.
yeah,
They actually told you the facts.
Canary King is trying to, chime in and says, "What's your position, Lorley?" And asks again, "What do you believe is going right or wrong?" And then finally says, "To us, they may they may not be a bot, but but they're a troll.
Very a troll. Yeah.
So so I don't like calling people trolls. I don't like calling people bots, but when they behave like bots, I like she he they behaved like bots
Well, I can
because
tell you that people who repeat lies
mm,
become liars. Just plain and simple.
yeah, yeah. So we like look guys, I like having these live streams and live engagements and talking to the chat. And the sad thing is whenever you pay attention to the chat, it encourages more conversation, especially when your chat is getting called and brought to the screen. There's a risk to doing that, but like Charlie Kirk said, the 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 when conversations stop, then violence breaks out. We have to be comfortable having these conversations because after we went through maybe 20 minutes of going through their comments and answering their comments with experiences, facts, and positions, and the only thing is like, okay, so you have all of these positions. Here's a call-in link. Join the live stream and let's have a conversation. They didn't take us up on the offer. They decided to sit in the chat faceless and just say the things that they felt like saying and then drop an accusation calling us stupid before leaving the live stream.
And for
That's not
their information, I don't think that you've got as much of an education as he does.
well, well, look, if you live long enough, keep your eyes wide open and your heart open and your brain working, you get educated. You don't need to go to a university. All right. You don't need to go to a university. Some of the smartest people in the world are not college educated. Now,
Well, college isn't going to make you smart.
oh no,
It's only going to teach you a set standard of this is how it is.
not the college education that we have today.
No.
Canarian says, I think it was a good exchange. Dialogue is always good. Look, I honestly feel like that is one thing that we should we should restore, and no matter how painful it is, we have to do it. I saw,
Education needs to be education,
yeah,
not an indoctrination pillage.
yeah.
But
Now,
I can tell you that Gorbachev said, it's how you take over a country is you start with their young people, their
yes,
youth.
yes,
That's how you change a country. If you can change what the youth thinks, then you can change a country.
yeah,
And how do you do that? You get them while they're in school.
yeah. Right. So, we didn't call anyone stupid. We didn't call anyone uneducated. We didn't attack anyone. We tried to have a good faith conversation. Let us know in the chat if you're watching this after the fact how we did. Canary King, thank you for attempting to bring some, let's say, some calm into the chat and ask some really important questions. But we're going to keep doing this. Honestly, I miss live streaming every day, but we're going to just keep this schedule going. So again, we're going to be back again on Wednesday evening and then again back next Saturday. I miss live streaming every day. I'll be honest with you, but I think what we're doing right now is healthy for the channel. Let's know your thoughts about this exchange. Canary King thinks it was a good one. What do you think? What do you think? Now, I would like to say that Lurley has she's or there. The, I have a sense that this is a woman talking, but they they have convictions that they are holding on to. Convictions are good. but convictions have to be backed by facts. I
And
make
not
no
hearsay and not repeating what a politician said.
Yeah, and Canary King is mirroring what I'm about to say. Indoctrination levels are scary. He also
Yes,
says,
they are.
he also says,
When you
sorry,
teach children history and you leave out historical facts,
yeah,
you get Lily.
yeah. So he says, you did very well. You gave them a chance to express their views. That's all you can do. Look, when I when I posted the call-in link, I held my breath because if this person took up the challenge of joining the live stream, and I think one of the problems is this, okay? We have a generation of cowards who will not face you and have an intelligent, good faith conversation. All right. And I was like, if they come on the screen, so on the live stream, I hope one, they engage in a good faith dialogue and not come to
Well,
rant.
I
That was
can
the only
tell
thing I had
you,
I had on my heart.
I can tell you that the name that you see that I identify by on this channel and every other social platform I'm involved in is my name.
Yeah.
I put my name out there because what I'm going to open my mouth about and post about and talk about are things that I know are factual.
Yeah.
And if I ever present something that is not, you will see me post an apology stating that I found out I was wrong.
Yeah.
And I've only had to do that once. And I don't even remember what it was over. It was minor, but I still apologized and corrected it. I don't go by a fake name on here. I don't go by a fake picture on here. This is
Yeah.
what you see is what you get.
Yeah.
And have I had experiences? Yeah. I grew up in the 60s. That was a time that you will never, ever forget.
Yeah.
Because every night you sat down in front of the TV, you seen the riots.
Mm.
You seen the cities on fire. You seen people getting hurt and getting killed. And did you understand why it was happening? You better believe you did because you've already lived through watching what racism was really like.
Mm.
And did we sympathize with them? Yeah, we wanted it changed.
Mm.
But did we sympathize with the destruction they did to try and get it? No, because that wasn't the right way to go.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Canary King says, Patricia, that's because you have class. She drinks her tea from a teacup with her pinky sticking out.
Oh, I never put my pinky out. That's too British.
My mom would give me a scowl if I slurped my tea. I was like, I was like, it's hot. And then I tried to compromise and sip it from the teaspoon, and she would still give me the eye. And I'm like, I'm not British, you know. So so
I have
here's
been known to wait a half an hour before my coffee at McDonald's cools off enough to drink it. And if I'm
uh
inside the restaurant, I go get ice.
yeah. So we've gone through. I think I like the live stream. I like the fact that we were able to have this conversation and to dig into some of the things. In
Well,
future live
I'm
streams,
hoping and praying for the Iranian people that they get their king back
yeah,
and that Reza Pahlavi is able to waltz through the front door of the palace
yeah.
and bring that country back to the democracy it used to be.
Well, we can only pray. So let me. I was about to say something really profound a few minutes ago,
Pinky.
and I was about to say something really profound, but here's the thing, guys. All right. Um, we owe it to ourselves to be honest with ourselves. Whenever I do these videos, we have a video that I've been working on for a week, and I just did a a second draft, and I showed it to Patricia this evening. Once we're off the live stream, she's going to tell me what she thinks of the live stream or of that video. If she says the video doesn't pass, I'm going to be scrapping a week's worth of work and going back to the drawing board. Why is that? Because it is important that I I give the facts, but it's also important that I package it in a way that works for the viewer so that they don't lose the facts that I'm delivering. And that's the thing with these live streams. You're trying to present the truth and the facts. And many times, because it's a 1 hour, 2 hour live stream, there are people who spend their lives watching 30-second TikToks. And that's how they get their worldview. 30-second TikToks or 2 minute TikToks.
I
And
was going to point out that video in the mosque
yeah,
came from a mosque video camera that was
aha,
mounted on the wall. You noticed it didn't track the movement of the people walking in and out.
yeah,
It's just viewed on that one spot.
yeah, yeah, that's the video. So guys, we've had fun doing this live stream. I miss live streaming every day, and sometimes it's hard to say good night, but you know what, guys? It's time to say good night. All right. We had a couple of videos to share, but I think we've seen enough to be able to
Yeah.
kind of piece together a
But just
nice show.
remember, people, Muslims do not burn and destroy mosques.
Yeah. These guys are not Muslims,
They
and
are not Muslims.
they are Iranian. These are the Iranian Muslims burning down mosques. So,
No.
like Patricia says, these people aren't Muslims. Iran isn't a predominantly Muslim country. When they take away your guns and they hold the guns and tell you you have to identify as Muslim or as Islamic, all right,
Or die.
else we'll kill you. Or like this person says, where's that, like
The
this
Ayatollah said that,
individual, oops, where is
yeah,
he? Yeah, like this guy says that if you attempt to step out in public and claim that you left the Islamic religion, that we're going to cut your head off. They're saying this. Okay, so it's clear what's going on in Iran. Let's know your thoughts in the comment section. We're just going to call it a night. Guys, hold on to your loved ones. Tell them you love them every day. Today's Valentine's Day. Happy Valentine's, everyone. I forgot my manners and didn't say that.
happy
Um,
Valentine's.
hold on to your loved ones. Let them know how much you love them. And we will be back on Wednesday for another live stream, same time. And Patricia, you want to say good night?
Say your prayers. Good night.
Say your prayers and be at church tomorrow. All right. Good night.